Good morning, I'm Pat Kiernan. This is Pat's Papers, our morning look at what's in the nation's newspapers. We've been looking through the headlines, and here's what we found for you today. A day before the presidential inauguration, and there is coverage everywhere. Let's start with what has already happened. The entertainment yesterday as seen on HBO. Coverage here from the LA Times. Sharpshooters patrolled the parapet of the Lincoln Memorial as President-elect Barack Obama and his family sat alongside the Bidens in their glass-walled booth on one side of the stage. The 2-hour concert featured Bruce Springsteen, U2, Beyonce, Stevie Wonder, Garth Brooks, and Tiger Woods, who spoke of growing up in a military family. Coverage in the New York Post this morning played off the photo of Obama in front of the Abraham Lincoln statue. The Post says tomorrow's speech will channel both JFK and Lincoln, urging Americans to do their part for their country. The newspaper with the front row seat is the Washington Post. Most of the first 11 pages of the newspaper today devoted to the inauguration. There is more throughout the paper. Writer Michael Fletcher notes race has become something Obama is increasingly happy to talk about. Not all of the related coverage in the Post is from the D.C. area. There's a front-page story from Hollandale, Mississippi, examining the expectations there of a chronically poor black community. The locals are excited, hoping an Obama administration will deliver real change, but there is concern that the people here will be forgotten in favor of higher-profile groups, such as banks or auto workers. Martin Luther King III writes in the Post about his father. He tells of his pride in seeing Barack Obama take the presidency, but says America still has to urge itself on to bridge the gaps between different groups. Obama's honoring of King's memory leads the Washington Times with the headline, Obama builds on King's dream. Just above that, the Times carries an essay by Obama himself, where he takes a line from Jefferson's inauguration speech, "Let us unite with one heart and one mind." One more item to wrap up the Obama coverage. In Chicago, a huge picture on the front page of the Tribune. It shows Obama with the caption, "Anything is possible." The San Francisco Chronicle has coverage of developments in Gaza, with Israel and Hamas agreeing to a ceasefire. The Chronicle reports some Israeli troops were smiling and dancing as they began the withdrawal from Gaza. The Israeli government and Hamas militants have declared an end to the 3-week war, with neither side achieving long-term goals. A second story in the Chronicle says Gazans are starting to appear back outside on the streets. Those lucky enough to still have homes are returning to them. The New York Times with the front page news analysis asking the question, have 3 weeks of overpowering war by Israel weakened Hamas as Israel had hoped, or simply caused acute human suffering? The article goes on to explain that what Israel was really hoping for was a lasting deterrent to rocket fire. While we're on the front page of the Times, the lead story about the success military recruiters are having in the U.S. lately. As it becomes tougher to find work elsewhere, more people are joining the military with the promise of a steady paycheck. Recruiters will meet their targets for the first time since 2004. Big news in Phoenix and Pittsburgh today. It'll be the Steelers and the Cardinals in the Super Bowl. It took the Steelers' win to oust Barack Obama from the front page in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Over in Phoenix, the Arizona Republic says fans were stunned, ecstatic, jubilant, and grateful. One other sports story, a story we thought we might never see again, news of Lance Armstrong racing. The 37-year-old back on his bicycle after a 3.5-year break. He's starting his cycling season in Australia with the goal of returning to the Tour de France this summer. The New York Post says, bye-bye birdies. The Post taking the editorial position on the weekend that birds near airports are too much of a safety threat and they should be killed. The early investigation into last week's U.S. Airways water landing on the Hudson River confirms the pilot's theory his plane was disabled by birds that were in the way. Wise advice from the Kansas City Star today: even if you've lost your job and your mortgage holder's threatening foreclosure, don't ignore the IRS. If your annual income declined because you lost a job or had some other change in your financial situation, your tax bill is likely to be lower. You may be owed a refund. You might find yourself eligible for a range of credits you didn't qualify for before. Pedigree dogs have become increasingly stupid, as they are now bred for their looks, not their brains. This according to new research described in the Boston Herald today. The mental and physical agility of many breeds is being eroded. Owners now looking mainly for pretty pets to live in their homes and carry in their handbags. USA Today reports on a difficult winter in the Caribbean. Business is down because Americans don't have as much money to spend. And even if they did have the money, they might not be able to get there to spend it. American Airlines, the biggest of the airlines in the Caribbean, it has cut its seat capacity by 24% this year. And USA Today for one more Obama story. This is about the fact that the 47-year-old looked very fit as he walked around a couple of weeks ago on his vacation in Hawaii. The paper offers some benchmarks for health in your 40s. Sleep apnea can be a problem for 40-year-old men. The risk of heart attack rises in your 40s, especially for smokers. And if you haven't got eyeglasses already, you will probably need them soon. And that's our report for today. I'm Pat Kiernan. Thanks for being with us today. We do this every weekday, and you can always go to patspapers.com where you will find the rundown of the stories we featured today and links you can click on to get to the individual newspapers where those stories were published.